Yeah, so 4 years ago, ESG probably not heard a lot at this conference. This year, I think it's at the forefront, and that's kind of where IV Energy fits into this. What we do is we allow you not only to check that box, but monetize your renewable energy requirements, and we're the billing software that allows that to happen. Put simply, what we do is allow you to arbitrage what the local utilities are charging versus what you can produce on site with that renewable energy. A lot of us have common area expense reduction experience on site, but IV allows you to monetize that 85% of your resident or your tenant consumption as well. So it becomes a revenue adder. Just overall landscape, ESG is obviously a huge buzzword. There's a lot of requirements nationwide. City and state requirements when it comes to new development with PV and storage. They didn't provide a solution, and so a lot of developers are left to figure out how to solve that problem. That's kind of where we fit into play. And then IRA just recently passed. $400 billion is earmarked for that clean energy. So clearly the trends are moving in one direction, which is requirement of renewables and on-site renewables in multifamily and multi-unit properties. As a result, what you've seen is a couple different business models to address this. First, demand response programs is essentially selling back into the grid. The second is that owner-resident, owner-tenant platform where you're actually selling directly back to your residents and tenants. And then the last are off-site renewables where your residents are able to purchase off-site solar or renewable produced power. Another reason that you probably haven't seen this as much, over the last 10 years, the decade, there's been a massive reduction in the PV costs. This makes it a lot more financially feasible. There's been modern policy in terms of that owner-tenant billing relationship. And then also the data sharing that 10 years ago, we just didn't have the ability to do what we can do today to actually be able to implement this on these properties. So in a macro example, 100 units, currently in a multifamily, $10,000 is just going directly to the utility. Owners aren't involved in the transaction. What Ivy allows you to do as an owner is you put solar on, you can reduce that cost down to about $1,000. You collect $9,100 from your tenants, you pay $1,000 to the utilities, keep an $8,100 margin, and your residents get to share in the benefit with a $900 savings aggregate on their bills as well. So it's really a win-win solution for residents and owners. And what Ivy does is we manage this entire ecosystem. So EV charging, the solar production, what we really take care of is turnkey. So the residents get a really clean experience for property managers. We integrate with your software, so we become a line item and they just pay it on the first of the month. We completely automate all of the data, so this is not going to be extra work for the owners to produce the bills. Everything we do on the back end for you. And then lastly, we actually optimize where your production credits and the value of your PV production. And so you're going to know that you're going to get the most value out of that system that you already paid for. And so now I want to leave a minute for questions, but essentially we're seeing this a lot. The trends are obviously going towards green. What Ivy wants to do is help not only in the green with the environment, but the green for the bottom line, because obviously everyone wants clean energy to be implemented, but it's got to make sense financially, and so that's where we fit in. We are just a flat fee for the bills that we do produce, and we only implement on properties that have the ability to offset enough where there is enough margin. If it's a 20-story building, probably not a lot of room for PV offset there.
Cheating a little bit here, but what's the ROI to your clients from using your platform?
Depends on the utility, but we're seeing a payback period of 3 to 5 years in California. And then obviously nationwide, it's going to differ based on utility rates.
All right, that's it. Thank you. Thanks, Colin.